Welcome everyone to the Care About a Clean Cape and Islands Summit. I'm Gabrielle Rawson. I'm the news director of Cape Media News, a hyperlocal news program. And it's my honor and privilege to be a moderator for the Care About a Clean Cape and Islands 4th Summit. We have here today founder and executive director of Care for the Cape and Islands, Jill Talladay. Also speaking today, Jesse Meckling from the Center for Coastal Studies, and also Meg Morris from the Cape Cod Anti-Litter Coalition. Good morning, everyone.
Jill Talladay, as Gabby said, Care for the Cape and Islands, and we were founded in 2012 to inspire stewardship to preserve and protect the things that are most dear to Cape Codders and Islanders, the environmental, natural environment, the cultural and historical treasures of Cape Cod. We've funded over 50 projects that fund things like water bottle filling stations, historical trail development, and marine debris education. We do educational programs and an annual Care for the Cape and Islands Day to engage people in learning about a local nonprofit attraction, and we present our grants at that time.
I'm Meg Morris, co-founder and president of the Cape Cod Anti-Litter Coalition. And we were founded in 2016, so another young organization. And our mission, of course, is, when we started this thing, we were just tired of picking up litter. And we said, now wait a minute, we could keep picking up litter the rest of our lives, but maybe we should try and do something about preventing litter. And so our focus is on education that changes attitude and behaviors, leading to a culture where littering is considered socially unacceptable. And that mission has become even more important today in the age of coronavirus because of the ability to transmit the virus through things that are discarded through littering. So we take our group and our mission very seriously, and we know that a lot of folks on Cape Cod do, and it's an organization that is, we're trying to spread out all across the Cape, and we're having some good success, especially lately.
My name's Jesse Meckling. I'm the education Director of Education at the Center for Coastal Studies. The center is a independent nonprofit organization. I guess we're the oldest. We've been operating since 1976. We're located in Provincetown, and our organization is primarily a scientific organization conducting science that matters in many areas, from water quality to the study of marine mammals to coastal geology. But also to promote stewardship of coastal marine environments through education programming, and marine animal rescue. And since I came on board just under 11 years ago, we've developed a program dealing with marine plastic pollution, and we now have a marine debris, marine plastic pollution program, which looks at cleaning beaches and also removing derelict fishing gear. That's one of our newer, bigger projects we've been doing for the past few years. And we're also starting to conduct research now looking at microplastics in food resources for some of the animals on Cape Cod, and also in what some of the animals are eating on Cape Cod.
Talk to us a little bit about the history and evolution of the Care About a Clean Cape and Islands Summit and why it was created.
We had funded a number of projects with Jesse and marine debris education, and we realized that there were a lot of like-minded organizations, probably a lot of overlap in doing the same kind of thing. We had talked about, wouldn't it be great to bring everyone into the same room and share best practices, learn from each other, and collaborate together to have a better impact.
We had worked together, and we were trying to organize a call with some groups who were starting a Skip the Straw campaign on the Cape and Martha's Vineyard, and realized that back then, actually the phone calls weren't working. We weren't all Zoom aficionados back then. And so we talked about having an in-person meeting and just getting people around the Cape who were doing cleanups because, as I mentioned, we've been doing cleanups for 10 years out in the Provincetown area in the Outer Cape, but there are groups all over the Cape doing cleanups. So we wanted to get together, find out what other groups were doing, and also be able to share data that if other groups were collecting. We've been collecting data from our cleanups, but it'd be good if other groups were collecting data to share those data, or have other groups start collecting data. So we wanted to get together. That was our initial reaction, was to get like-minded people together and really talk about what was happening on the Cape. And then Meg and Jill had been having conversations, and we brought Megan in the summer, who was planning a similar meeting of her own, and we decided that wouldn't it be good to bring them all together with Meg's contacts that she'd be working with, and folks that we at the center were working with, and CARE was working with. So that's where it really came from.
Now, a lot of positive activity has come out of your summits. Can you talk to us about your working groups and some of the campaigns?
So I'm going to talk about the 5 groups, the 5 working groups. The first is the municipal laws, rules, and regulations, which sounds kind of boring, but the fact of the matter is they are really critical to the success of the Take Care Cape Cod campaign. And what they were tasked with doing is researching in all the towns kind of the system, because even though you'd think all towns are the same, there's a little system within each town on who to connect with. For instance, if we wanted to post signs somewhere, well, for those towns that have the old Kings Highway, there's a certain set of restrictions there. There's other restrictions on the other side of the Cape. So they were really critical for identifying kind of who and what and how. And the goal was to eliminate some of the pitfalls and be able to expedite the process to get the Take Care Cape Cod campaign. And I should say Take Care Cape Cod and the islands, of course, because they're part of us. But to figure it all out and get that information down for us. And they've been putting a report together, and it's a huge task actually. It's not easy. The second group is the awareness group, and they're focused on litter awareness and prevention here on the Cape. Making businesses and people aware of the problems with litter, because it's funny, some people don't think their litter is a problem here on the Cape, and we're still identifying why they don't think it's a problem, and mainly because they drive a lot of places. But it's interesting, now that people are walking a lot of places, you're hearing more about litter and people becoming aware and saying, gosh, this shouldn't be there. So the litter group put together a panel at our last summit that included Representative Hunt on the nip bottles, which is a huge litter issue. And then also we had a speaker from the Sheriff's Department to talk about what the Sheriff's Department does on their not annual, but through the summer, usually they do the cleanups on the road. So that was one of their achievements. The third group is the cleanups group. And while there's a lot of focus on beach cleanup, as Jesse will tell you many, many times, beach cleanups, there's also roadside cleanups and park cleanups. And so what this group did very early on in a very timely fashion, they recognized and made the rest of us realize how important data is for getting anything further done. We can clean up till the cows come home, but we don't have the data to back it up. We're not going to get municipalities to support our programs and to help us do the right thing. So what they did is I think there were 3 groups who've been doing litter cleanups routinely, and they got together and put a data sheet together for the rest of us to use, so that we're comparing apples and apples rather than apples and oranges and peaches and kumquats. So that was really very good of them to get that together early on for our use. And in fact, that form can be found on the Take Care capecod.org website. And again, we encourage anyone whether you're doing it by yourself or with another person, please use that form and then follow the instructions on the form. The fourth group is cooperative purchasing, and this group is primarily focused on businesses. The goal was for the purchasing was to establish a purchasing group for products that are environmentally friendly by working with purchasers and vendors, so that we got both sides of the equation. Those who are using and those who are buying. We believe many more Cape Cod businesses could be using greener products and participating in more green activities in their establishments. So this group, they've got a phase one, and so they'll have many phases after this, but it's a very hardworking team, and they're in the midst of preparing an online buying guide for sharing with local businesses, focusing initially on better disposables, considering our current takeout situation. What we're going to do as the overall group is develop specific mini summits similar to this that we're doing today that will help share knowledge about sustainable practices and products. And you're going to hear more about that at the tail end of this event today. The last group is our marketing group, which is super key. Okay, good marketing for Karen, the Cape and Islands Collaborative, is critical. And for that, we have the Take Care Cape Cod marketing tool that already has a very active website and Facebook page, lots of videos, posters, you name it. Just go on the website, take a look at it. There are lots of ways that everyone can be participating in Take Care Cape Cod. Their activities were designed to incorporate the other working groups' missions, and they have a broader impact because their focus also includes visitors who, as we know, and we know we're going to have them this summer, no matter what, we're still going to have visitors. So it's really important that they become part of Cape Cod, Take Care Cape Cod. This year, the campaign is Think Like It's 1620 in honor of the 400th anniversary of the landing in Provincetown. And Jill's going to provide some more information just as I finish up. So there's a lot of activity going on in each of the 5 groups. And again, the purpose of the in-person summit had been to get those groups together on a routine basis so that we can bring each other up to date. And I guess we're going to be doing it by video chats for a while. So those are the groups. And again, I'm happy to say that all of them are working very actively.
Jill, did you want to elaborate a little bit more on the 1620?
Yeah, Meg keeps referencing Take Care Cape Cod, and perhaps some of the listeners aren't familiar with what it is and how it came about. And the 5 working groups actually came out of the first summit with identifying the key things that we thought we needed to work on and to carry through the discussions at the summits in between the summits, having 1 or 2 per year. And one of the suggestions was the fact that the group felt that we needed to have some kind of a universal messaging that would inspire people to do the right thing, but be light and joyful and fun. And I had learned about Take Care Tahoe when I was at a tourism summit, and thought, wouldn't it be great if we could replicate it and bring it back to Cape Cod? So that's what we did, and we introduced it at our second summit. And they're all, they poke fun at the mistakes that we all make. They're great things like, disposing of your cigarette butts properly. Nobody wants to see your dirty butt. Or dog waste, if it's your dog, it's your duty. So there's a lot of fun things like that, it's just where we started out by having them at some of the transportation centers. Our hope and goal is to have them distributed and appear at businesses and parks, and to have much more visibility, and just to really kind of remind people what they can do on a day-to-day basis. And as Meg mentioned, the 1620 campaign, we were starting to think of what can we do to, again, inspire people to just do a simple thing. And in honor of our 400th anniversary of the landing of the Pilgrims, who can't give 16 minutes and 20 seconds per month to, look around, go to the beach, pick up some litter, or donate $16.20, which we're pooling into funds. The first, when we raise enough money, we're going to fund a water bottle filling station at the Pilgrim Monument. And if we raise more money, we'd like to do more of that. But it's just a fun and an easy way. We're keeping track via the tally sheets that Meg mentioned, but we also have an app, the Clean Swell app, which is all the information, again, is on the website, so that you can use the app or use the tally sheet. And we want to keep track of just the impact and how much it is that we're making a difference at the end of the year.
So looking to the future, why should businesses, especially for-profit businesses, get involved?
There are a lot of consumers that are really looking for businesses, first of all, who are doing sustainable things. And so a business can learn from what we're doing, get tips, get the ideas on what products that they should purchase. Hopefully at some point be able to purchase them as far as a group, and save money. And it is known that if a business uses environmentally sustainable products, they typically do save money. It makes the staff feel good. We can help businesses to kind of avoid pitfalls because they can learn from what we've already done. So we really, encourages, we have a lot of organizations that have been participating with us, and we really felt that we learned, there is a bit of a gap. And I think part of the challenge has been that we've held our summits during business hours when the businesses are working and they haven't been able to come. But we see a real benefit, and we're really focused on trying to get more businesses involved and to let them know how they can truly benefit by participating.
One of the businesses that been since the beginning is We Need a Vacation.com, which is a website for finding vacation rentals here on Cape Cod, and maybe other places, I'm not sure, but I know on Cape Cod. And one thing they've been actively doing is encouraging the homeowners who are on their website to actually use green products, and encourage that as listings. So it's businesses who are working towards using products that are cleaner, better for the environment, but also encouraging businesses that work with the public, encouraging the public to do the same. So I think that's a great example of why businesses, all kinds of businesses, can be helping or joining the campaign to create more sustainable products that they use and that the public might use from that business, or the interaction between the public and the business.
So what's next for you guys? I know you guys have some announcements you want to make.
So we do have as part of the Think Like It's 1620 campaign, we do have a cleanup right now scheduled for August in Provincetown, with help from the Pilgrim Monument. And of course, we don't know what August will look like. We hope that we'll be able to meet and do a cleanup together. Then maybe it'll be less than 50 people. Maybe there'll be a group size thing. Who knows? But the center just had, and maybe some folks on the call were participated in this. The center just did a virtual Earth Day cleanup last week, where folks went out and cleaned on their own or with their family, and then sent us pictures and tallied what they collected. So if we're still in this mode in August, that could be something that we do again. But hopefully we'll be able to meet and have a beach cleanup in August up in Provincetown. Right now scheduled for August 2nd. So yeah, that's one of our upcoming projects.
And I understand you're also going to have start releasing some videos. Is that correct, Jill?
So because we typically would have had our summit would have been a full morning. We're trying to keep things short because we realize that people don't necessarily want to sit in front of the computer all day, but we're going to be doing more of these shorter summits.
So keep an eye on your email to make sure that you can participate in it.
Okay, so we have a question here. Okay, it says, how do I get started with the Think Like It's 1620?
If you go to takecarecapecod.org, there is information on taking the pledge and information on how to access our toolkit. So there's a toolkit that has all of the various messages, how they can be used, and you just fill out the form. We'll send you the toolkit, and any questions, just let us know.
Just add to that, during this sort of period of self-distancing and lockdown, my son and I have been engaged in a twice weekly beach report, where we also include a 16-minute and 20-second cleanup. And we posted those videos on the center's Facebook page. I hope they're being linked to the Take Care page as well, so folks can see those. So just really going out there, downloading the data card, and starting with a cleanup on the beach or roadside or wherever you live, wherever you can get out safe, social distance wise.
Jesse, there's a question for you. How is the beach cleanup data used?
So that's one of the questions, that one of the reasons why we wanted to come together initially is getting sort of an idea of what types of trash we're seeing. One of the important things with collecting these data is really looking at where the trash is coming from, and that allows the center or other groups who might be involved with I wouldn't say lobbying, but basically taking these data to folks, industries where we're seeing a lot of trash come from. For example, talking to fishermen about potential ways to clean up rope that gets into the water, potentially having things on their boats that will collect more trash. One of the things we haven't started, but other places in the country have started, is looking at actually branding trash from the data. So looking at, we have a lot of sometimes Dunkin' Donut cups that show up, or straws from McDonald's, and actually looking at those data and going back to places and showing where they're coming from. As beach data, that's hard because we get trash that comes in from all over New England. I think roadside data could be important for that, particularly if you're in a particular area and you're finding lots of trash that is coming from a certain business that's near that area. You could then take those data back to that business and say, we're finding lots of your cups, your straws, your takeout containers. Let's do something about it. So using the data, going back to places, if you can find the area and talking to those businesses.
It's that kind of data. You have to have that data to get some political change and to get the local elected officials to understand it is a problem.
The data that we've collected over beach cleanups over the years, I'm happy to share with folks or groups or people in local towns who are putting together campaigns. For example, stop balloon releases, or campaigns to reduce styrofoam in their town, or plastic bags. So these data that we collect are we'd be happy to share with groups like that, looking for the actual data that they can go to town meetings with, as Meg was saying, or at the state level, and show what's actually coming up on our beaches, and show that it is a problem.
Wonderful. Well, it looks like that's it for our questions. I want to thank everyone so much for attending the fourth Care About the Clean Cape and Islands Summit. And of course, thank our speakers, Jill, Jesse, and Meg. If you want to get involved or learn more about care for the Cape and Islands, visit takecarecapecod.org. And again, thank you guys so much to our speakers, and thank you for inviting me to moderate.
Thanks, Gabby, so much.
Thanks, Gabby.
Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.